Peace, family. What's good? Hold on. Let me get the Let me get the music going. Well, no. Let me play this clip real quick. Let me play this clip real quick. Then we'll get the music going. Guys, like, share, and subscribe. Please hit that like button as you come to the chat room. I don't understand why I gotta ask y'all to hit the like button. I mean, goodness, just hit the like button. Tour Sierra Leone. We are rolling in April. If you are interested in rolling to Sierra Leone, citizenship opportunities are available for those who qualify. Hit me up. Go to hello at Donfo. Again, hello at donfo.africa. Again, go to hello at donfo.africa, everyone. Bam. Go there and knock it out, family. I hope all is well, my beautiful people. Shout out to Dave Dillon in the chat room. Shout out to Kashta Zulu in the chat room. Kashta, I know you got something to say about this because you're from Chicago. So I know you have something to say to this. I know you want to add to the conversation. We'll open up the lines here shortly. Won't be here for long because I have another show at 7. And, today I was just reading and I'm like, oh, today's the day that Malcolm X was killed. So we could say FBI, but this is the issue I have. I love the Nation of Islam. I love Mr. Farrakhan, his teachings. I listen to Brother Farrakhan. But for some reason, when it comes to Scientology, when it comes to building a nation of our own, and when it comes to Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam, they will play hot potato, and they will not give a clear, definite answer that makes sense. They will not hold themselves accountable. They will not take responsibility for some reason. They always point the finger. And if you listen to them explain, why, Scientology, okay, you say you want to build a nation of your own, but now you don't want to build a nation of your own. You say you want to separate from the white man, but you want to stay here in America and build a nation within the white man's nation. You say you had nothing to do with Malcolm X, but you created the environment to kill Malcolm X. You said the Nation of Islam had nothing to do with the killing of Malcolm X, but the individuals, 2 were exonerated, but the other 2 have not been exonerated, and they admitted to killing and shooting Malcolm X. Like, what is it? So, but let me play this video real quick. This is very interesting. Let me play this video real quick.
Yeah, I love Elijah Muhammad enough that if you attack him, I will kill you. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I'm not a killer, but neither are you. But if somebody attacks what you love, each one of you here will become a killing instantaneous. Am I lying? Mother, let somebody look like they're attacking your child. Here's a woman who fought a bear.
Hey, is there echo? Is there echo in the background? You can't hear. Oh, hold on. Let me see something. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on. Let me just check the settings real quick. Okay, that's cool right there. Hold on. Let me do this. I'm going to play this and I'm going to mute myself. Hold on. Let me go back. All right, guys, I'm going to play the video again. Press 1 if it's cool. Press 2 if you hear an echo when I start playing.
Yeah, I love Elijah Muhammad enough that if you attack him, I would kill you. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I'm not a killer, but neither are you. But if somebody attack what you love, each one of you in here would become a killer instantaneously. Am I lying? Mother, let somebody look like they're attacking your child. Here's a woman who fought a bear because the bear snatched her baby. And she ran the bear down, screaming until the bear dropped her baby. Love casts out fear. We don't give a damn about no white man law when you attack what we love. And frankly, it ain't none of your business. What have you got to say about it? Did you teach Malcolm? Did you make Malcolm? Did you clean up Malcolm? Did you put Malcolm out before the world? Was Malcolm your traitor or was he ours? And if we dealt with him like a nation deals with a traitor, what the hell business is it of yours? You just shut your mouth and stay out of it. Because in the future, we're going to become a nation. And the nation got to be able to deal with traitors and cutthroats and turncoats. The white man deals with his. The Jews deal with theirs. Salman Rushdie wrote a nasty thing about the prophet, and Imam Khomeini put out a death thing on him, and it stands today. There's certain paths you don't cross. Yeah, I love Elijah Muhammad enough that if you attack him, I would kill you. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I'm not a killer, but neither are you. But if somebody attack what you love, each one of you in here would become a killer instantaneously. Am I lying? Mother, let somebody look like they're attacking your child. Here's a woman who fought a bear because the bear snatched her baby. And she ran the bear down, screaming until the bear dropped her baby. Love casts out fear. We don't give a damn about no white man law when you attack what we love. And frankly, it ain't none of your business. What have you got to say about it? Did you teach Malcolm? Did you make Malcolm? Did you clean up Malcolm? Did you put Malcolm out before the world? Was Malcolm your traitor or was he ours? And if we dealt with him like a nation deals with a traitor, what the hell business is it of yours? You just shut your mouth and stay out of it. Because in the future, we're going to become a nation. And the nation got to be able to deal with traitors and cutthroats and turncoats. The white man deals with his. The Jews deal with theirs. Salman Rushdie wrote a nasty thing about the prophet, and Imam Khomeini put out a death thing on him, and it stands today. There's certain paths you don't cross.
All right, so hey guys, at the end of the day, only 2 of the 4 were exonerated. Thomas Hagen was not exonerated, and there was one more guy that wasn't exonerated. In fact, in the documentary "Who Killed Malcolm X," the guy that was the focus of that documentary, who was cool with Cory Booker, who actually was still involved in attended one of the Nation of Islam mosques in New Jersey, I don't think he was exonerated. So, and something else that was interesting in this video, Farrakhan mentioned how when they build a nation of their own, again, build a nation of their own, how they're going to have to deal with their traitors. But how can you deal with your traitors or your people when now you're saying, we don't really mean that we're going to build a nation of our own. We're going to build a nation within America where we have our own farmland. That's not a nation. You're still governed and policed by the laws of the United States of America. That's what it is. Like it doesn't make sense. But the NOI definitely played a role in the death of Malcolm X. And for the life of me, they will continue to play hot potato and deflect and not hold themselves accountable or apologize for the role. Yes, I'm saying the dude that did he was in the Cory Booker's, like him and Cory Booker were boys. And then Cory Booker was like, I had no clue. The NOI was not responsible for his death. The NOI had puppets that were paid by the FBI that killed Malcolm. See, here we go with the deflection. You had NOI members that decided to work with the FBI to kill Malcolm after after Farrakhan created the environment. Him and Elijah Muhammad created the environment to have Malcolm X killed. Yeah, you're right, Donnie. It's here in Newark, New Jersey. That's what I'm saying. Like one of the killers of Malcolm X, I think, got a job with the government, was working for the police office, his local police office. Was still an active member in the NOI. You guys have to watch that documentary, Who Killed Malcolm X? Because literally in the documentary, they said, hey, we forgive the guy for the role he played in killing Malcolm X. The point I'm making is, if it wasn't for Malcolm X, the NOI would not be where it was at today. The NOI was pretty much defunct until Malcolm X came along. It's like Malcolm X is to the NOI what Tom Brady was to the Patriots. You take away Tom Brady, look at the Patriots. Again, you take away Tom Brady, look at the Patriots. You take away Malcolm X, look at the NOI. Again, Malcolm X is to the Nation of Islam what Tom Brady was to the Patriots. Those are facts. Malcolm X made the NOI cracking. When you think NOI, you think Malcolm X. That's just facts. You guys can get upset. You guys can get angry. But Malcolm X made the NOI cracking. That's just facts. I think the NOI, I think Malcolm X. Period. But again, when it comes to the NOI in regards to their involvement in the death of Malcolm X, no apology, no nothing. And that was proven and showed in the Who Killed Malcolm X documentary, when literally one of the guys that played a role in killing Malcolm X was still a part of the Nation of Islam. Members of the Nation of Islam in the mosque in Newark, New Jersey that he attended knew that this guy killed Malcolm X, and they were still cool with him. No heat, no hands on feet on him for killing Malcolm X, no nothing. Malcolm X is who got the Nation of Islam cracking. Period. Again, Malcolm X is who got the Nation of Islam cracking. Malcolm X was the man. Malcolm X was the man. That's the truth, man. Nobody's rocking Elijah Muhammad t-shirts and hats. No one's rocking Louis Farrakhan t-shirts and hats. Everybody's rocking the X hats and the X shirts. Everybody's rocking Malcolm X. Everybody quotes Malcolm X. Malcolm X is an icon, period. Dev, call in. And listen, you're more than welcome to call in. I went to a Muslim private school built by the Nation of Islam. They never mentioned Malcolm X. Listen, if it wasn't for Malcolm X, there would be no, like, Nation of Islam would not be where it is today. The Nation of Islam would probably be like, what was these other churches? Follow the Vine, and guys, links in the chat room. Click the link, call in. Link is in the chat room. Click the link and call in. The Nation of Islam will be equivalent to, hold on, what's this guy's name? Follow the Vine, his church. Who's the other guy that preached prosperity gospel? Casper, go ahead.
Casper. Hey, what's up, Donis? How you doing today?
I'm good, brother. Go ahead.
Can you hear me well?
You're going kind of in and out, but go ahead.
Hello?
You're kind of going in and out. Amina, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw this guy, and when he showed up on the documentary by the brother who was a historian and journalist in Washington D.C., I couldn't believe my eyes because I had seen with my own eyes myself, and it was deplorable. And for Cory Booker to act as if he didn't know who this Muslim informant was and is unashamed. He should be ashamed himself to lie to the public as if he never knew.
Knew. Did you watch the documentary?
I did many times.
I swear, when they brought up, it was fun. It was so when Cory Booker was speaking positive about this guy, and then when the guy showed him hey, this guy is guilty of shooting Malcolm X, and Corey's eyes just started bugging. He just, I have no. It was.
Yeah, he was buck dancing, and he knew he knew, and everybody who knows Cory knows that he knew. And this guy had a funeral for a celebrity. He had the kind of funeral and homegoing that Biggie Smalls had and Aaliyah had in Brooklyn, New York, with a horse-drawn carriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's deplorable. My point in saying all of this to you is that I don't care if Malcolm called Elijah Muhammad a traitor to the Black race. When you play a pivotal role in killing one of your brothers who look like us, you're doing what was done to us on the continent all over again. And that can't be applauded. Now, we should really think about, and I'm not asking for anyone's life to be taken. I'm not asking for that. But just look at the deeds of these people. When they still exist right now, you have to wonder who made a pact with the devil.
Right.
Notice Farrakhan is still alive. Nothing
Hmm.
has happened to him ever.
I know damn well Malcolm X would have made a pact with Scientology. I know that shit would have went down.
Definitely not. And Sharpton is another one. All of these people who are still here today, the old guards of the NAACP, the old guards of the Black Congressional Caucus, excuse me. All of these people have made a pact with the devil. And this is why, as a people, in part and parcel, we have regressed backward as a people. We have too many Benedict Arnolds amongst us, Dynast.
Right, too many. And you know what? We were discussing this on one of my shows, and I keep bringing up this question: why is sellout culture in the black community just so prevalent? Like it's just we have a sellout culture from here to Africa that is just we just sell out.
And because we don't have any self love, Dinus, we have the indoctrination of colonization has really, really done a bang up job on us. However, today is a new day and we have to do away with the traitors. Yes, we have we have been instrumental in having disdain for our own, but that day has to go somewhere else in the annals of history. We have a generation today that has to learn from the mistakes of the old past, and we have to encourage them not to see each other as each other's brother and sister, to look at each other as brother and sister, not as a traitor, and not to have the blood stain evidence on your hands of taking out our own who look like us. We cannot have that on our conscience. And we can't pass that down generationally. We cannot have that on our conscious mind. It's unfair to our future.
No, you're absolutely right. So you said you used to see the guy in Newark, New Jersey.
I work in Newark. Yes, I've seen this man. And he had a community center in the heart of Newark. And he was
Mm.
a part of Cory Booker's they have a communal activation, and he was amongst the community leaders, and that's why he was in the campaign, the commercial campaign for Cory Booker. All of these things are set up. I have a family member who's very connected. He's no longer with us now. He's an ancestor. Peace and blessings be upon him.
Hmm.
I cannot give his name.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
say all that to say every business that opened, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman,
Hmm.
Gamble and Huff in Philadelphia, they all knew my uncle.
Oh wow.
That being said, the Muslim community in the tri-state area is it's big, but yet it's small and it's very intimate. And nothing happens without somebody knowing what happened. So if the government is involved, and if certain people in the community, and I think you know what I mean by community, are involved, they all played an integral part. There's blood on everybody's hands. There's blood on the hands of the United States government. There's blood on the hands of the community.
Mm.
There's enough blame to go around. When
Right.
United States government admitted during the trial of United States government on the death of Dr. King, and they were found guilty. If a fair and equitable trial had been given on the murder and assassination of Brother Malik El Shabazz, Haj El Malik El Shabazz, been done with the same right standing as was given to Dr. King, United States government would be held guilty as well as its conspirators who look like us. And as the brother Rashid had said, or I think his name was Rashid, please correct me if I'm wrong. He said the lectern was still in the basement of the Audubon Theater. It
The,
was
the, what, was,
levitated. The
what was the
lectern, the pedestal where Brother Malcolm had given his
Wow.
speech,
Wow.
and it was bullet written. And with his investigation
Let me,
also,
Amina, and I'm gonna bring Brandon on shortly. Like,
mhm,
so someone in the chat was saying, you guys have to just stop this crap. The real X got hit by from his white enemies. Very simple. That's not true.
it is not true,
They
and
conspire,
he
but
can't
it's not
prove it.
true. He got killed by black men with guns. Like why are we? That's the
You
problem I
had
have. Like, we
video,
want to,
you
yeah.
had video, even back then, of he was shot with a double-barreled shotgun to his chest,
Right.
and there were armament came from when the autopsy of Malcolm X was completed. The evidence of the autopsy revealed that it was not only the gunshot from the side, it was gunshots from on top of his head that shot down at his body. But what killed him was that double-barreled shotgun to his chest. So he was being assassinated from above his head, from the sides of him, and to his chest. And if you looked at that lectern that the brother had discovered, there were bullet holes coming from all angles of that lectern, that pedestal, which Brother Malcolm gave his final speech. I'm done. Thank you,
Okay.
Dinas.
No problem. No problem. Let's bring. I appreciate it, sis. Thank you for joining. Let's bring Kasha Zulu on, and we'll bring Brandon on. All right, go ahead, Kasha Zulu.
All right, I fixed my Metro PCS Wi-Fi, so
Yeah,
I
that's
think
that
we should
Obama
be good.
phone.
It's
That's that
yeah,
Obama phone.
yeah.
That's that Obama
It's my track phone. I'm sorry, I had to top up on my minutes real quick, but I'm good. I got about 15 minutes.
Go ahead, bro. Then we got Brandon. Go ahead.
I like when you do these kind of broadcasts when it's discussing topics like NOI, because you got a lot of detractors in the comment section,
Man, it's
and
crazy. Like
and
it's
they
crazy.
never want. It's crazy because they never want to call up. They just want to make noise in the chat room because they don't want nobody to grill them. They want to just be able to throw rocks and have their hand. But if y'all really want to defend NOI, you could defend them by coming on and actually answering some of the questions. But y'all don't want to get in that little finagle. My thing is with NOI is y'all slipped up with Malcolm X. Let's say y'all didn't have anything to do with it. Let's just say that for to just say it. Let's just get past it. But what about with Khalid? What happened with Khalid? Like Farrakhan turned his back on Khalid. He didn't want to talk to Khalid. Khalid pleaded with Farrakhan. And Farrakhan still let him back in the NOI, bro. Farrakhan, when he passed, and I don't mean to sound evil when I say this, but when he passed, the world ain't gonna really miss him. Like the world missed Malcolm X. He's an icon, like you just said earlier. Farrakhan
Right.
ain't no icon. Like you've had, 20, 30 years to become an icon amongst us, and you still ain't did nothing. So I'm just waiting. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna let the King Brandon come in and finish it off, because that's the man for the job. That's all I
All right,
have to
girl.
say.
All right, no problem. Appreciate it, brother. All right, Brandon, go ahead.
Dinus, we the only group of people that lets people take shots at us, kill our heroes, and just because they look like us, we're like, oh, we need to give them a pass, and they are brother. Have you ever saw that movie Braveheart?
Hell yeah.
What color was them people fighting on that battlefield against each other?
White.
Was them white folks like, well, we all white, so we should just let them come on in and take over our empire?
Nope.
Exactly. Black people have an unhealthy emotional attachment to the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam ain't done a damn thing for black people. Oh, they got schools that they make you pay them to attend.
Which
Oh,
is
they
fine.
got bakeries that they make you pay them to buy food from.
Which is
Okay,
fine.
and I'm okay with, go ahead, what?
I said, which is fine. Business.
Which is totally fine. But don't say the NOI is, oh, they're building a black community or anything like that. Look, the NOI killed Malcolm X, period. Might not been on the orders of Elijah Muhammad, but somebody in there was jealous and they went in and smoked him. There were a lot of people who Elijah Muhammad, it is a fact. Elijah Muhammad had to tell some of his top dudes, Just chill. Let Malcolm do his thing. Don't go after him. This is facts, right or wrong?
No, it's facts.
This facts. So if you had dudes chomping at the bit, bro, you got to think of this like the Italian mafia, right? If you ever saw the movie Donnie Brasco, there were those who were bosses who want to go get Lefty, right? And want to get rid of the boss. Guess what? They said chill, 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 but they still went out and did what they wanted to do at the end of the day. Farrakhan was a radio DJ and was on there speaking incendiary things about Malcolm X right before he got killed. Now, there was a guy who was a radio DJ in 1994 in Rwanda who has just recently been arrested, who got on the radio every day and incited those tribes to go, one tribe to go and commit genocide against another tribe, right? That guy is held accountable for the things he said, which incited people to mass murder. Farrakhan basically wrote Malcolm X's death sentence and gave people the go-ahead to go kill Malcolm X. And you know Farrakhan had that kind of influence because he is the guy who ascended to the throne of the NOI once Elijah Muhammad died. So he had influence. So the people who he held influence over went out and did the job. Now that's speculation. The point I'm making is this. If you would dare try to let a murderous, corrupt, greedy, compromised group come into our midst and tell me, Brandon, you gotta let the wolf up in the hen house. Brandon, you gotta let the fox up in the hen house and pretend like you don't see that it's a fox. You deserve to be destroyed. You deserve to be wiped off the face of the earth. NOI killed Malcolm X. They know they did it. Since Malcolm X died, they've been in constant decline, which is the way it usually goes when you assassinate the people who are really towing the line for your organization. None of the people running NOI should actually be in the leadership position of NOI. Why? Because they didn't get there by righteous means. They got there by murder, greed, and deception. Because when usually, Dynasty, and you'll admit this is true, when a person gets in a position for all the wrong reasons, what usually happens to that organization that they're the head of?
It crumbles.
It crumbles because they're not qualified to lead. If Farrakhan was qualified, Elijah Muhammad would have named him as his successor. He did not. So the Nation of Islam is being run by a dude who had to lie, cheat, and steal and kill to get that position. And that's why you see a bunch of his little underlings, all they do is sit up and go out and buy the white man's cars, go out and buy the new Lambos, go out and try to grip people and take advantage of people while offering absolutely nothing.
No, let me bring Nollywood on. Nollywood, go ahead.
Yo, what's good, King? And
What's going on,
African. I'm good, man. It's my first time being on your panel, man. I appreciate it, Prince. And shout out to Pan African Strikes Back. It was good. I want to address something to the all the people that are in denial. Thomas Hare himself. Remember the video?
Admitted to shooting them. Admitted to shooting them.
Admitted, exactly. And after exactly. And he admitted, and he told the detail. Remember?
Right.
Actually, he told a detail how they did it. He mentioned the other people's names, everything. Even Farrakhan, when he was on Donahue, he said, yeah, there was white people there was the government behind it, but it was the black people that pulled the trigger. Farrakhan said this on Donahue. Matter of fact, Elijah Muhammad even put out the hit. That was in the documentary. He said Malcolm heads need to be cut off, just like he tried to he said something in some Bible scripture, you know. So that Elijah Muhammad even put out a hit. He said Malcolm had to be cut off. So all the evidence was there. The FBI. So they said Malcolm X was a traitor. But when FBI came to Malcolm X was Even the FBI said they didn't know they was being recorded.
Look, Malcolm X
But
was a traitor. Malcolm X was a traitor. I never try to make excuse for Malcolm X. If you're in an organization and you acknowledge the headship of the organization or the leadership structure, you don't run to the white man with the black man's problems. If you didn't like what Elijah Muhammad was doing, that was an internal issue that you bring up to Elijah Muhammad. Or you could have been a man, sat patiently waiting. Elijah Muhammad was on his way out anyway. Malcolm X was the person who's going to take the mantle. And then once you take the mantle, you change things internally. This is how white empires did. The prince didn't challenge the king and go tell another person on the king. The king said, look, when I get the mantle, the prince said, when I get the leadership mantle, I'm going to do things differently. It happened so many times under every empire on earth. So he technically was a traitor. But that doesn't, I just want it to be facts. Like, NOI killed this dude. He was a traitor, yes. They killed him, yes. Why is the lies necessary? Why is the deception necessary? Why is all the we didn't do it, here's a bean pie shit necessary? Just stand on your shit. He was a traitor. We took him out. That's it. All these years later, ain't nothing nobody could do about it. But they want to lie because they know that would have killed their image in the eyes of the black people. So they lied to try to cover up.
I disagree. I disagree that he was a traitor because if he go ahead. Because if he was a traitor, then he would have been making deals with the FBI when the FBI came at his door. He didn't tell the FBI nothing. He said so. He didn't.
Brandon,
so that's
you got a
on
point,
record.
Brandon.
The FBI was trying to get information. So you can't say he's a traitor. They even said that they had the five top people was informants in the NOI. And guess who was one of the informants? So you want to talk about traitor? Farrakhan betrayed his teacher. Guess who his teacher was? Malcolm X. Malcolm X was his teacher. Okay?
All right.
So you want to talk about traitor? He was working for he was in.
Hold on, let me address something in the chat. Let me address something in the chat room. So, Def Rocker, this is the problem. All right, you're complicit because you guys knew that this guy killed Malcolm X. You guys still allowed him to come around. Like I don't understand. Like why are you guys upset? Like you guys knew that he killed Malcolm X, and you still allowed him to come around. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make, Def Rocker. Blaming the NOI for killing Malcolm is like blaming all Muslims for bombing the World Trade Center. You guys allowed him to come around, so you guys were complicit. So I mean, go ahead, Brandon. You're muted.
Hey, the definition, right, of a traitor is a person who betrays a friend, country, principle, etc. Right? Edward Snowden whistle blew against the United States and the way they were behaving in Afghanistan. Even though what he did was the right thing to do, he gave up sensitive information, which basically made the United States look bad in front of the world, right? They labeled him a traitor. Malcolm X, though he may not have went to the FBI and snitched out Elijah Muhammad, right? Malcolm X still spoke down on Elijah Muhammad's authority to lead the Nation of Islam. He left the nation, basically called into question the legitimacy of the nation, and started his own thing in opposition to the nation. That's called being a traitor, bro. That's by all definitions, he was. Now, if he just left and said, you know, I left for personal reasons, it ain't got nothing to do with nobody, I just felt like it was time for a change. Those words are not traitor. But if you go look at his speeches and what he was saying about the Nation of Islam and certain things that was taking place that he just couldn't be a part of and all that stuff, which he said, that is traitorous. You're speaking down on the legitimacy of this man who you basically worshipped. You left him. That is traitorous, bro. They looked at Elijah Muhammad like
I disagree.
Listen. They looked at Elijah Muhammad like a god. Once you leave your God, you are a traitor. You betrayed your God. That's just the way it is, bro. It ain't no two ways about it.
I disagree. Let me tell you why. Let me
Yeah.
tell you why I disagree. The nation betrayed Malcolm X. Okay, the nation betrayed Malcolm X. So you telling me that Elijah Muhammad, who was in power, to had who was practicing fornication, which is against the rules that he made up. All right. Then you got to understand how they bombed this man's house. Malcolm earned that house. That was Malcolm's house. He earned that house. And you mean to tell me that they bombed this man's house with his babies inside? Okay. They didn't give a damn about his family. And Malcolm, how he built the nation. He built the nation. Matter of fact, he taught the people how to train, how to fight. He did all that working for 10 years. 10 years. And then they started, and then all the ministers, which was jealous and all that. And if you watch the 60 Minutes when they interviewed Farrakhan, he said this. He said there was a lot of jealousy when Malcolm X was in power. When Malcolm X was putting in the work. So it was the nation betrayed Malcolm. So if somebody betray you, you're not gonna care no more. You're gonna be like, yo, fuck it. If it's gonna be like that, then I'm gonna. It's
Hey,
gonna be
brother Guy Nollywood. Brother Guy
so
Nollywood. If you keep on saying the nation, the nation, the nation, right? Dinus, can you mute your mic? It's feedback. Okay, if you keep saying the nation, the nation, the nation, right? This is a nation. What is the punishment for treason against the United States? I'm asking the question. Does anybody know the punishment for committing treason against the United States?
Yeah, but a nation is not a nation.
No,
They've already
no,
pretty much said that.
It is a nation. They are viewing themselves like a nation. What is the punishment for betraying the United States of America in a treasonous way, Dynast? You muted. What's the punishment?
Me? You talking to me?
Anybody. What's
You
the punishment?
get death or imprisonment.
Death or imprisonment, right? So what you got to understand is Malcolm X signed up to be a part of that nation. That's the rules he agreed to be a part of, right? So when he went out and spoke against Elijah Muhammad, he committed treason against their nation. So if you look at this from a empirical standpoint or a political standpoint, they were within their rights to put him to death. Just like if you commit treason against the United States, they are within their rights to put you to death. So either we're going to look at the nation like a nation, like what they said they was, or we gonna take all these emotional reasons why they shouldn't have did. Oh, fine, he worked for the house. That's just emotional stuff. I'm looking at this straight up and down. He was in a nation. He pledged his allegiance to that nation. He went against that nation, and he was given the penalty of death. And they tried to kill him. Now, United States, we might not like the way they do what they do. We might not agree based on moral reasons with the fact that Snowden is going to jail or whatever and stuff like that. But we still have to observe the laws of the land because we pledged allegiance to this nation. When you was a little kid in school, I pledged allegiance to the flag. That was you saying, look, I fall under your jurisdiction in whatever crimes you see fit to whatever punishment you see fit. If I commit a crime against you, I agree to suffer that penalty. Malcolm X did the same thing. I care for. I love his family. He's a nice guy.
But Brandon, if that's
he worked hard, but those are the rules.
But Brandon, if that's the case, then people who speak out against Trump or Biden or any president should be put to death.
No. Look, back in the day, that could happen to you. Now they don't do that because of public relations and image reasons. But back in the day, if you spoke against the king, your head was gone. So that was a primitive style of rulership, what Elijah Muhammad was under. There was no democracy. That was a monarchy. Whatever. Well, actually, it was a theocracy.
But Brandon, that's not. I mean, the Nation of Islam, and they've came on the show, but they're not a nation. They've came on here and
they're not a nation anymore. But at that point, Dynasty, they were viewed as a nation. Under Elijah Muhammad, they were viewed as a nation that was looking for independence and separation from the United States of America, right or wrong?
That's right. Let's get
False.
Nappy. Hold on. Let's get
False.
Nappy Yankee on. Nappy Yankee, go ahead, Nappy. Unmute
Hold
yourself.
on. You can hear me right now? Okay.
I hear you
I
now.
just
Go ahead.
okay, I just wanted to say this regarding him being a traitor. I always wondered what that term means. And I think Brandon is missing one point, that the Nation of Islam is a cult. You understand the Nation of Islam, and over the years, I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's a cult. Okay. Now I'm not gonna say that Malcolm was totally oblivious. I mean, this dude was a street smart dude. So I'm not buying the idea that he was totally oblivious to everything, all the dirt that Elijah was doing. I mean, he was the number two guy. He was in the circles. He had to know, but understand all the options that were extinguished when this dude. I mean, this dude. They bombed his house. Remember, Elijah did use the white man's cord to take his house and take his belongings. This man stayed silent for all this time. He basically, excuse me, all his options were gone. And you see it now today, man, when you try to go up to people in the conscious community, for example, you try to tell them something, they're like, nah, we got to keep things in house, and they don't do anything. This is how the polites happen. This is how the Tariqs and the Umars happen. You try to keep it in how we got to stay on code, but you don't hold people accountable. And he tried to do that in the nation with a bunch of people under a cult-like atmosphere, including himself. There were stories about him going back to Elijah, and they were saying, yeah, well, Malcolm was trying to go. Yeah, because he was still under a cult mindset. It takes some time to get out of that. But and also you're talking about treason, right? Even this country, if you do something that's against the country, depending on what you do and how much there's been times that they've set people up and just sent them away. You mean to tell me he couldn't go up to Elijah and say, after I built up this nation, I don't agree with this anymore, and Elijah couldn't just let him keep his house and just go about his business?
But you got, but you
And
got to
plus,
understand, Elijah was like a king, bro.
yeah,
He
but it's a
decreed
cult.
that he was
Just say
to
it's a
die,
cult, though. But it's a cult.
bro. I get it was a cult, my brother, but we got to
Yeah,
look at this from a non-emotional aspect.
it's
Malcolm X joined the nation willingly and agreed to
understood.
be under their rule.
He joined. He came out of. He joined it. But what you're saying, this is just complete anarchy. Then what you're saying, then they're not the organized nation that they portray themselves to be. They're just a street gang. That's it. Just say they're a street gang. There's no organization. Because again, even this country, as evil as it is, they will, if you do something treason, there's a lot of people they sent out on an island and let them go their way. The Nation of Islam couldn't do that. Did you know that? And let me say this too. I myself, I've never been to Chicago before. I am gonna make a plan to go out to Chicago. I want to see Mos Mariam. If they don't have
I'm
something,
about to
some
do it.
sort of, I don't know, like a picture or something from Malcolm and Khalid, let's not leave him out there. Khalid helped build that thing throughout the 90s. And the guy who shot Khalid Muhammad, that dude has a YouTube channel right now. You know that? Basically, what I'm saying is the Nation of Islam, they're a cult. They're a cult. So,
I,
the
I
fact
under
that
I understand that they're a cult, brother, and I don't like the Nation of Islam, but what I'm telling you, bro, it doesn't matter how we view the nation. The only thing that matters is the nation had a set criteria. By giving his allegiance to the nation, Malcolm X agreed to be under their rule. So
what
therefore, he gave his life to Elijah Muhammad, bro, to
okay, guy.
let him live or to take it away. He even
Okay.
said that in his autobiography. So what I'm telling you is, when you go against someone who you pledge your allegiance to, it don't matter about how you feel, it don't matter what's right, what's wrong. They have the
Brandon.
right to choose
Okay.
to kill you or let you live. That's all I'm
So
saying.
wait, Brandon, you were in the
Brandon.
gang before. You had stated many times you were in the gang, all right? Okay, and you obviously have the pledge and allegiance to a gang. And if you want to just leave the gang and just like go your separate ways, maybe you can do that. But what happens if they start bombing your house, shooting your shit up and shit? I
Right.
mean, what? And they give you no options.
then you better go start bombing their house or go on witness protection, because once you join a gang, there is no leaving. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no leaving. I'm still a 20 Crip technically, but I just ain't banging. I ain't a gang banger. You know, I don't go to the street trying to beat people up.
So just admit that the nation is nothing but a street gang that, for the record, beats up on black people. Let's just admit that. Okay.
I admit that 100%. But what I'm telling you is blood in, blood out, bro. Once you pledge allegiance to a gang, Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts, you are under their rulership. The rules they set.
Right. Let me say this. Yo, I'm sorry. Dinus, let me just say this. You played a clip of Farrakhan giving a speech in the 90s about what they do to Malcolm X, and I'll let you speak in a second, brother. There's a speech he gave in 1971 saying the same shit. Louis Farrakhan did. He did a speech where he brought up all of Elijah's, while they were teenage girls and stuff, legitimizing the shit. That's what I'm saying. The shit is a full car. And I saw an interview with what's his name, Malcolm Flex on Sonetta. Dude was sitting there co-signing Khaled getting thrown out of the nation. I'm like, bro,
He
they have no loyalty.
He did what he supposed to do. Y'all don't. Black people have a problem. Listen, black people. Look, I was a Jehovah's Witness, right? So black people have a very hard time understanding rank and file, hierarchy, and organizational structure. The organization is bigger than any individual. So when an individual speaks against the organization, that person needs to be eliminated, whether that's just to make them a pariah and excommunicate them from the organization, or even to the point of death, if that's the way your organization moves. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that was the rules.
The two people that built up that, they would be nothing without those two. It's a shame. People are sitting there sticking up for these cats, and like I said, now they're just a cult, man. And Farrakhan, I was in a chat today where somebody was talking about Farrakhan. I simply asked the question, "What about Scientology?" And they blocked me. They don't even, that alone should be like, yo, what about, I'm still asking, what about Scientology? Farrakhan can't come up to me and do what he did to his members. Like, no. I'm like, no, bro. Why don't you just say this was a cash infusion because Khaled left, a lot of people broke up, and you started going broke. Just say that.
Nappy, let me ask you a question.
Right.
Why don't mafia hitmen get life in prison once they turn state's evidence or they get caught?
Why don't they go to prison? Because they'll get killed.
No, why don't they get life in prison? They do like 10, 15,
because
20 years.
They make deals. They make deals with the government.
They make deals, and even if they don't, like Sammy the Bull, that guy, he made a deal, but then he got busted again, and he just did 20 years, right?
Right.
The reason why they can cut deals is because they are a part of a larger organization, and they're just dudes taking orders. The government and the law enforcement don't want the little underling dudes just taking orders. They want the bosses at the top. That's how they're going to stop that organization. So that's also why you see nobody went to jail for Malcolm X's death.
Now, go ahead.
Because even the government recognized, yo, this is an organization. They have rank and file members. Someone gave them this order. So going to put them in jail is not going to stop the problem. So there was no need to go to the underlings. They were a recognized organization that had a hierarchy and one dude on top calling all the shots. Even the government recognized that.
Brandon, do you know why Sammy the Bull turned? Do you know why he turned?
Because Gambino wanted him to take the fall for him.
Plus, they wanted to kill him. They were basically setting him up to kill him. They gave him no options. You know what I'm saying? He had no options. So it's the same thing with Malcolm, man. And there is the tape out there of him taping the FBI, and he said nothing. Malcolm and these guys were so loyal, and they just chopped him off at the knees. And you got people in the nation still sticking up for this. That's my issue.
That's their job. That's their job.
I want to know, because when Well, Malcolm, when he signed up for it, it was under false pretenses, right? So
Bingo.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You said that Malcolm was a traitor, right, Brandon? So when he has said something
Technically, he
against,
was.
okay, but I guess Elijah was a traitor to himself too, because he was saying chickens came on the roofs when he dissed the JFK, right? But then he turns around and says, "This is because you said there was in a nation, right? I disagree with that. So why is it that Elijah Muhammad embraced it,
Somebody needs to
JF
mute their
president?
mic.
I hear feedback. Yeah. So why did Elijah Muhammad himself, and you can go look at the tapes, he said JFK was his president and he loved JFK. This is what he said.
See, because that's the whole thing. Rules for thee and not for me. That's how things are run in a corrupt situation, right? So Elijah Muhammad was making up the rules as he went along. Anything he says the law, that was the law. That's what members of the NOI signed up for, bro. It's like a king. The king can break the rules because he makes the rules, right? I'm not saying it was okay. That's the part where y'all have a disconnect. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just telling you that when the shit benefited Malcolm X, he was all for it. But then when it got him to the point where he couldn't really tolerate it, then he went against it. By all for all means and purposes, he was a traitor to the NOI, bro. And those guys like Malcolm Flex and all these dudes, they are technically on code with their religious entity / cult when they speak against Brother Khalid Muhammad, when they defend the NOI and say, "Oh, we didn't kill Malcolm X, or he deserved to get what he got." They're just being on code with the rules and the rules and the talking points of their organization. I used to be in an organization just like that. Not really with the murder and stuff, but we had a certain script and certain rules and certain beliefs that we had to hold on to no matter what. Tell your grandma Jesus don't exist. Now tell me, because she's a sweet old lady, oh, it's okay that she believes Jesus don't exist and all that stuff. If she get in her church and say Jesus don't exist, they're going to kick her out.
Right.
Y'all think corruption is like, oh, they were corrupt, so Malcolm technically wasn't bound to their rules. Bro, the United States is corrupt as hell. Bet you ain't about to go rob no grocery store or no bank. Corruption don't mean you absolved of your responsibility to adhere to the rules of that organization or that nation, which when Malcolm joined the Nation of Islam, he viewed that as his nation, his seal, coat of arms, he was loyal allegiance to that. So just because there was corruption, it didn't mean he then could go against it and it was okay in their eyes, right? So when he broke the rules, they took him out. Are y'all still there?
No, we're here, man. I was having some technical difficulties. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah,
I
we
hear
can.
you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we here.
All right, Dion, go ahead, Dion.
Hey, brothers, man. Thanks for letting me on
We
this
can hear you,
panel,
brother.
man. Y'all having a good discussion, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but like I said, it's we can argue about the technicalities all day, man. But you know what I'm saying. When Malcolm came out of dang old prison, man, he put in a lot of work. You know what I'm saying. And what he did, what Malcolm did, was what a lot of us do. When we find somebody that we respect, you know what I'm saying, we end up deifying that motherfucker. We end up putting them up on a higher pedestal. We turn them basically into a god. You know what I'm saying? So when Malcolm found out about the things Elijah was doing, that was the beginning of the dang old downfall. And then when he tried to talk to other brothers, they didn't want to listen to him. Why? Not because it wasn't the truth, but because they put him as a damn deity. They basically looked at him as God. You know what I'm saying? Even on the movie, when Elijah would talk, he would talk like he's God, when he was just a man, you know? But when Malcolm started to tell the blatant truth, that's when started having problems. Just like Khalid Muhammad, when Khalid Muhammad started to tell the blatant truth, when he clowned Messi Jesse Jackson, Farrakhan threw him out to the wolves after that. You know what I mean? And that happened twice. Two great men that could have pushed forward, they killed them both. Why? Because a lot of people just don't want to admit that the NOI and the dang old government are one and the same. They're not separate. You know what I'm saying? They're not separate. They're one and the same. They are working together. You can't say the kind of shit Farrakhan says and he's not killed yet. Okay, they got pictures of him out here with a goddamn Freemason apron on. You know what I'm saying? He's the taskmaster. He's the overseer. He's the one that makes sure that you stay in the box. And you got our people out here really thinking that running to religions is going to save them. That's not going to save you. You know, and they were so jealous of Malcolm because Malcolm put it when Malcolm came on the scene. He put in work. Like the brother said, he built it. And then Khalid Muhammad came and he continued building. And Farrakhan wasn't up front no more. He wasn't, so he got jealous and he got angry. Why? Because everybody was looking at Khalid and wasn't looking at him. You know, so it was just crazy. And this is why NOI is in the position they in now. Because of jealousy, hatred, and
Right,
envy.
they build you up and then they build you up and they tear you down. That's what Malcolm X got built up by Elijah Muhammad, and Elijah Muhammad tore him down. And I don't know why black people have a hard time with understanding that. Like, that's the way the world works. It don't matter how morally right it is, or oh, that's sad, you work so hard. Bro, these people are about power. And power is uncompromising. It don't matter who you are. If you go against the power structure, they are going to steamroll your ass. And every black person watches, Brandon, you're wrong. You guys need to get a reality check and start living in reality, not based on this this fake moral code of ethics, dude. Malcolm X betrayed the NOI and they killed his ass.
Yeah, but I mean, Brandon, Brandon, basically what there are is controlled opposition. They're making you think that they are in resistance where actually they're
I
working
agree with you, brother.
alongside.
Listen, bro, I argued this same point a couple weeks ago on this very channel, talking about how they get money from the government and everything like that. I'm saying Malcolm X was a great guy, honorable brother, but he technically was a traitor to the NOI, and that's why they killed him. I'm not gonna sit up and just act like, oh, he wasn't no traitor. He was, because he pledged allegiance to them. And he should have had his back with him.
Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why us as a people are so distrusting of one another now, because we have witnessed these kind of things on the world stage. We like, damn, if they'll do that to somebody that put in all this work, what chance do I have? You know, we don't even want to work with each other. We don't even want to build with each other. We can't trust each other. We can't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? We have so many of our people that's intelligent and can do amazing things for organization. But they looking at how people being betrayed. They like, oh, hell no. You ain't going to kill me. What the hell I look like?
Hey, black people will sit up and say this. NOI killed Malcolm X because they was jealous of him. And this is why they didn't do this, this, and that. So what's our excuse for not working together now? See, a lot of people calling somebody jealous and all this stuff. They embody those same traits, because the NOI might not be doing nothing, but so most of us ain't doing nothing. So are we just as bad as the NOI? Do we harbor deep-seated jealousy and resentment that's subconscious for each other? See, that's the real question to ask. They can do it and everybody can shame them and they corrupt, but are we corrupt too? Because we ain't built nothing to fly in the face of the NOI either. Farrakhan's the government. Well, are we the government? Because we've built just as much as Farrakhan, nothing. See, those are the deep questions that nobody want to talk about.
Yeah, because like our people, we got that HNIC syndrome. We got to be in charge no matter what. If we ain't in charge, we don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, all of our people, we think we kings, we think we queens, we think we running everything, and that's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why you can't do it, because every black person wants to be in charge. And if they ain't in charge, they don't want to work with nobody. Dude, there's nothing wrong with following. There's nothing wrong with falling in line to get the goddamn job done. But our people don't think like that. They say all for one and one for me. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a damn about nobody else. You know, and that's because of our previous failures from leaders being stupid.
All right, two Niger. Go ahead, two Niger. Go ahead. Unmute yourself, two Niger.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, thanks for having me. I think Brandon is missing one thing from my point of view. Malcolm X, the reason why we are talking about him today is not because he was known for just being Nation of Islam. He represented the vision or the opinions of millions of African Americans and probably black people around the world. And for Nation of Islam to make it about them and take him out, that is hubris there, and I don't think they had any right. If they had any sense of belonging or any sense of proportions, they should have known that, because that's why he is remembered today. The others are like this thing, leaf blowing in the wind, and that is see. The story of Malcolm X is a very sad one. And when I saw, how he passed, they burnt his house. He was basically alone. This is
Hey,
somebody.
guys, one second. Let me interject. Guys, was it the nation? I didn't know this part. Was it the Nation of Islam that burned this house, or was it white supremacists or FBI or CI who burned this house?
Yeah, in the end, does it matter? The point is, he was sitting there on his own. This is somebody that has inspired millions. He was sitting there on his own on the street for hours. Where was his protection? Where was the value of the loneliness he must have felt? Then I can't even imagine. And then he went to this place. He didn't even care for his security because there was none, given that his life was already under threat. you when you go to speak in such a venue, knowing that people just try to burn your house and you have so many enemies, it tells you he has already given up. And he was basically sacrificed that day. And that is sad to watch. And I think if Nation of Islam is responsible for this, they have to be called to account, because sometimes our people have a way of thinking that the world revolves around them. He meant more than Nation of Islam. So that's all I've got to say. And Brandon is missing that.
The three people that are responsible for Malcolm's death are the NYPD, the Nation of Islam, and the FBI. All right. The nation,
Facts.
what happens with the Nation of Islam is they, when you name them, they're like, oh, we didn't do it. The white man did it. That's what they use for deflection. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
but
the
Nappy
nation.
Yankee, it was. See, this is the issue I have with the Nation of Islam when it comes to this. Also, when it comes to, see, here we go. When it comes to the death of Fred Hampton, like, there's no confusion that there was a black man behind that gun. But when it comes
Okay.
to Malcolm X, they play hot potato excuses. Like, okay, FBI, NYPD was involved. But at the end of the day, it was black men behind that gun that pulled the trigger. And that's why when it comes to the Nation of Islam, when it comes to Malcolm X, they're so disingenuous. That's why I just get frustrated as hell.
The double talk with these people, like we'll say something like, yeah, well, it's a black man that pulled the trigger. And then I've heard people say stuff like, yeah, well, you got to remember Malcolm was around he was around a lot of thugs, so he knew he was in. So you're admitting that black men did it, okay? Because the people, yeah, the Nation of Islam took in anybody, people with criminal records and what have you. They still have that criminal element. So it's just something that they don't want to go past. It is black men that pulled the trigger, just like it was a black man that shot Colin. All right, those are facts. The government is just something they just want to pull in. But again, this is a cult that we're dealing with. This is a cult, and to just show you how guilty they are, there's another guy, I guess last year, the year before, from the Nation of Islam's library or their research department or whatever, put out a book that said, but didn't you kill Malcolm X? So they keep having to defend themselves, knowing that they're the ones who are behind the pulling the trigger. If you want to, the NYPD, we understand the FBI, but y'all pulled the trigger.
Yeah. They just took out a very visionary. That guy, Malcolm X, one of the speeches I heard him give, he described the crack epidemic and all those things. That guy saw things before it became manifest on the streets, what was going to be happening. And they took this. See, Nation of Islam, if they did it themselves, it doesn't even matter because they remove protection from him. The way Nation of Islam is structured, if they wanted to protect him, he wouldn't be killed. How many Nation of Islam officials have been assassinated? They let that guy get killed because he didn't toe the line the way they wanted him to toe the line. I don't buy that. People, Nation of Islam is supposed to be loyal to something. Are they more loyal to the community than they are loyal to Mecca? You can't say you are loyal to the community and you allow an icon that speaks for millions of people, and even if you have a disagreement with the leader. But the point is that the things he's talking about too, for the people matters more. This hubris of people, I don't care how they did it. So if you look at it, it's between the American government, because they must have seen it coming, because the American government monitors everything. They must have seen that these people want to do this guy in. Between the American government and the Nation of Islam, they colluded to make this possible. That's where it should end. And for me, I'll condemn Nation of Islam from here to tomorrow. And it just shows you what is their result so far. They've not accomplished anything. Okay, fair enough. They are making people that used to be, that used to have difficulties, turn this thing turned round, and they are preaching to people. They are having people take more responsibility for their lives. But that they are just like a church, really. That's it.
Oh,
But they are supposed to
bingo.
represent more.
Here's what the Nation of Islam needs, in my opinion. They need a real traitor to expose him, because Malcolm and Khalid were as loyal to the end, to a fault. They were loyal to the end. The only reason Malcolm went on worldwide TV and said what he said about Elijah Muhammad is because he was backed into a corner. They need a real turncoat to come public in the day of the internet and expose him. All right, because right now, I mean, they're in the Scientology. They got white members. Farrakhan has a full, white daughter-in-law. So the whole nation's changed. So what they need is somebody who is a true turncoat to expose them, because it's clear they don't respect people who are loyal to the end. And that's what Khalid and Malcolm were.
Yeah, the sad part about the whole situation was they killed this man in front of his family. They didn't care. His daughter is still traumatized by it, and no one cares. No one cares. And then what I don't understand is these people supposed to be
crazy. They're more concerned about deflecting and not being claiming to not be involved in the actual murder versus the well-being of the family. They're more concerned about clearing their name, right, versus the well-being of the family.
The egos of our people. Did you not hear the way Trump insulted the Bush family? Do you not hear the way Trump insults everybody? Do you see them looking to like assassinate him or anything like that? Because they understand he's speaking for their people. People were listening to him. Our people with their hubris, egos, for what? Because, okay, he didn't bow down to Elijah, so you kill him, you abandon him. You see the other groups of people, they insult each other all the time. Because you swore allegiance, so what? We see it happening with other communities, but they don't kill each other. Why do they have to take his life? Allow or enable it for it to happen? It's just ridiculous. I don't buy any of that. You are in the court, so you have to sign off. I don't buy that. Other establishment figures turn against establishment figures all the time. They don't kill them.
I agree. Facts.
Hey, real quick, get your hands out of my pocket. You're go ahead.
Peace, brothers. Sorry, I got some background. Yeah, I'm gonna eliminate that. I like to bring balance to the discussion, and obviously, when this topic comes up every February 21st, it gets heated, and a lot of brothers get on the panel discussion, and we talk about it for hours. And obviously, it's a hot topic, and it's something that we're going to talk about for the next 20, 30, 40 years, or however long it is to, topple this government and do what needs to be done, as opposed to discussing the merits of previous revolutionaries to try to finish their work. I think we all agree that Malcolm would much rather us finish his work than talk about the ins and outs of his assassination. If we really are fans of Malcolm's, followers of Malcolm's, or follow his philosophy, or read his teachings and things like that, we could all agree that he would much rather us spend the majority of our time finishing his work than talking about the merits of his assassination. Now, in most
Well,
discussions,
brother, if I can interject, we don't spend the majority of our time talking about assassination.
I'm familiar with you, Dinus. I see your work that you do in Africa. I understand. I'm just talking about generally speaking. Generally speaking, I know you in the continent, you're doing your work. I understand that. But when this assassination date comes, we get to talking about his assassination, and I'm sure you are aware of many a YouTuber who spends most of their time YouTubing. Now, the proof is in your pudding. I see you on the continent with the people, so I'm not speaking towards you. The other brothers I'm not familiar with too much, but I'm just generally speaking black men in general thought process of trying to break this story down as much as possible, and it needs to be done. Malcolm is a great historical figure, follower of Malcolm. So I know his history. I can, rival anybody else who knows his history, but I'm also humble. So if somebody knows something I don't know, then I will listen. Now, in regards to the Nation of Islam, I have close ties to the Nation of Islam. Again, when we talk about this discussion, there's not enough balance. There's a lot of Nation of Islam dislikers, and you have people have their rights to dislike the nation, but we also, as civilized men, have people who are fans of the nation. I've worked with members of the Nation of Islam. I'm a nationalist. I'm a hardcore nationalist. I'm an anti-white nationalist, if you want to call them that. And I can be around my nation brothers and sisters and talk about the ills of the white man and what he done to black people, and they won't shush me. They won't say, hey, can't say that, and get nervous around me because I'm an activist in my community, and people get away from me because of my hard line. And the only people who are around are the brothers and sisters of the nation. Now, I've asked a few about Malcolm, whatever, but I have my own literature and seen documentaries and all that other stuff, so I can do my own research. Now, you deal with the actual assassination, right? One line that the brothers and sisters from the nation parrot, or just the brothers really, because the sisters don't do much talking. We take a lot of time in blaming ourselves or our implicity with Malcolm's assassination, and never look at the person who's behind everything. I heard the brothers mention the New York police force, and it's kind of like haphazardly, yes, the CIA, the government, the New York Police Department, but the trigger men were black people. See how we just kind of like, hey, white folks are involved, but really black people. We tend to do that. We love to like.
And it should be like that because it's just. But see, what you're doing, you're saying that black people have no self control, can't think for
No, brother.
themselves, and then when presented
Brother.
by two pieces of silver, we just got to sell out. So it's the white man's fault.
Is
No,
it
it was
is it not the truth, there, brother? But we have to
It
be
doesn't
honest with
matter.
that,
It was
brother, right?
two. Okay, bro. It was two black men. It was black men behind that trigger. I don't care about the NYPD or the FBI. Black people has been going on since colonialism. We just sell out, and we
Same
got to
thing with
stop
Lumumba.
deflecting to white people. It's just you just say no. All you got to say is no. Just say no. White man
It's
comes, you
not
say,
that
"Here
easy,
go two
brother. You
pieces
know
of
that
silver."
that's not that easy. Lumumba,
What do you mean it's not that easy? You just say
brother,
no.
the
What do you mean
second
it's not
man,
that easy?
in Patrice Lumumba's regime turned cold on him, and he was right there next to him. I mean, if the second man is going to do it,
Right.
the
Right.
second man is going to do it. These niggas that don't got no money is going to do it. That are
Right,
humble,
exactly. It's a left of self pride. It's a lack of self pride, and we have an issue of self hate in our community. Again,
all right.
it's a problem. I mean,
It is.
I don't get it. I don't get it how we will sell out for nickels, for pennies. We will sell out, and then want to blame the white man. No, you say no.
All right, brother. Oh, hold
Facts,
on.
facts.
Let me get a response to that, brother, real quick.
Go
Because
ahead.
all right. So I'll say this, and you know this better than anybody else. We've been living under the colonialism. We have not been able to live by the Martin principles, but that we have set our own government. We don't have any of those things. The schools that we go to are white people schools, right? The people that teach us are white people, right? The economic system that we're under are white people, right? So they set the standards and values. So they get it from us, they remix it and give it back to us, right? So we've never been free-minded under colonial rule. So the African under colonial rule is the sellout that you talked about, right? We call it talks about the plantation Negro who got his freedom by what? Either creating something for his master or selling a revolution out. Every revolution, every plantation destruction that was going to happen in the past got thwarted by someone who was what? A Negro. You know, he turned coat because he never even seen himself as the masses. He saw that with war. They said, what do I get? I get my freedom papers. What do I get? I get biscuits. What do I get? I get women. Cool. I'll sell you out because I've never been in a government where we control everything and everything is taken care of. We're constantly working for them. So as long as we're in that type of arena, socially, economically, so on and so forth, then that's going to be the black man, the African that you're going to see. They always can get someone. Brother that killed Nipsey Hussle, he was already in the system. These guys that they get to be killers are already in the system. You guys know, I don't know if y'all know this, but they had a hit squad in the mosque. They do this with religious organizations all the time with the other Muslims and stuff like that. They got hit squads and racketeers and all that stuff, and they use it as a religious front. We know about that, right? There's hit squads and everywhere. Even Elijah Muhammad's most powerful nation of Islam was not you could not get away from the clutches of the white man. If we're in America and there's white rule and white owned, right, no matter what we create, they can infuse themselves into it. Marcus Garvey's second man sold him out. You see what I'm saying? So no matter what that we can build, if they want to destroy it and they put their foot on it, they can. We just have to be honest about that. And so that's what they did to Malcolm. His whole security wasn't there. Why? Because they were already jailed. They were already infiltrated. So they had set them up on the Statue of Liberty thing. He didn't have his guns the last 2 weeks. They walking around with no guns because they found out where all the guns were stashed and they got them out of there and got them guns. You see what I'm saying? So that wasn't the nation's people that did that. That was the United States government. Everything that was tapped. That's why we know that discussion with Malcolm X, right? We know the discussion with the FBI, right? Malcolm left.
Bro,
The FBI came and said, what did
brother,
they say?
brother, I get it, brother, but we just have a bigger issue of, again, at the end of the day, FBI, CIA, gangs, drug abuse. We don't want to take self accountability. Like, we don't want to be accountable. We want to blame the CIA, the white man. The white man created the conditions. Just like, bro, nobody forced those people to pick up that gun and kill them.
Exactly.
Real brother. We gotta stop. We gotta stop that. We gotta stop that.
Facts,
we can't
We're
stop it.
under
That's
white
the
rule,
problem.
brother. We are under white rule. When you got a
It
house,
don't
brothers
matter,
got a
man.
house. Who
It
you
doesn't
paying? The
matter.
bank. Who runs the banks? We know
It
the
don't
1%
matter,
running,
man.
and they're
What is
not.
that?
And they're
What is?
not black people, brother. They're not
It
black
doesn't
people.
don't
matter.
matter.
What
You
is
gotta
that
pay
got
to
to
play,
do? What is? It does not matter. What does that have to do with another black man
brother. If
killing
you
another
want to go to
black man?
Africa, if the white man say you can't go to Africa, you can't go, brother. That's just the honest. That's just the
What's
real
that
of
got
it,
to do with me? What does that got to do with me killing somebody?
Exactly.
dear brother.
What is that?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't get
Exactly.
it, Dion.
Facts.
Dion, I don't get it.
Bro,
I just don't
bro,
get it. What does that
Diamond,
got to
can't
do with me
nobody
killing my
make me
brother?
kill you, bro. Can't nobody make me take another brother life. That's my personal damn choice, man.
Exactly.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And this is why I know that's why and this is why till this day nobody wants to lead no more because we see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Somebody sticks their neck out for us and we don't protect them. Or you have some
Right.
jealous sellout piece of crap that want to shine that don't even deserve to shine, that's incapable of even doing what the other brother doing, but he just wants to replace him anyway. And then you got people backing up the bullshit. Like, no, brother.
Yeah,
Like
but
it's okay to play the background.
and that's the issue, Dion. Like, these, in the case of the Nation of Islam, one of the dudes. Let me, Dion, mute yourself. Do me a favor, mute yourself, Dion. And Dion, that's the issue. In the case of the Nation of Islam, this brother literally kills Malcolm X, gets out of jail, and is able to walk around, attend the mosque, kick it with Cory Booker, and it's just like, oh well, it's just I don't get it. Just the number of the way we excuse selling out in our community. Like, we will just give so much excuses, no accountability, deflect. It's the white man's fault. How is it the white man's fault that these black men pulled this trigger? I just don't get it. Too Nigel, am I missing something, too Nigel?
I think, man, that's an interesting conversation both of you have had, and I've been wrestling with in my head with it. But I think in the end, you have a point, because when I study what is happening with other people too, they don't just go about letting their own just die like that. And this is why I hold the Nation of Islam accountable. he rose through them. And when the issue started arising, you don't just wash your hand and say no. I'm not responsible. This is something that people need to learn. You can't pretend as if you don't know anything that is happening. This man might die, and this man, his views are very very in sync with what many African Americans think, which Nation of Islam is supposed to be representing too. And they allowed him to just go on his own, knowing fully well what's going to happen to him. They are culpable too. They have responsibility. Even like Trump now, of everything he has said. But if somebody's plotting to do something to him, the law enforcement, the establishment will protect him. Because they know if something happens to him, his people will hold them accountable. Because they don't care. It doesn't even matter where the bullet came from. The point is, if it was Elijah Muhammad, they will not kill him like that. There will be gunfight. There will be war. That somebody will stand. Haven't you seen all these cult members that in America that they have to call the FBI to take them out? How is it that our own Martin Luther King gunned down by one person? This is Malcolm X gunned down by one person. It means that our people somehow allowed this to happen. We somehow allowed it to happen. We have to start taking responsibility for that. And this is one of the problems. I think we need to start teaching responsibility. When you are responsible for creating something, don't just act as if you are not part of it. If you have a child, you don't just say, you know what, because the child is misbehaving, it's not my child anymore. It's your own. If anything happens to that child, you are still going to be, it's going to hit you too. I don't buy the excuse that, okay, guns just killed him. No, if Nation of Islam didn't want him to die, they had the muscle. They are one of the most organized group in America at that time. They could have stopped it. They could have made sure that, because the American government wouldn't want to start that kind of fight on their territory during the time when the Soviet Union was so powerful. Can you imagine starting a fight with Nation of Islam in America then? But they let him die.
All right, someone somewhere. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Someone somewhere.
What's all y'all doing?
You're good, brother.
From everything I've heard, I would have to agree with the brother. Pan-Africanism strikes back in terms of organizational decorum. I'm not a proponent of the Nation of Islam at all. I mean, to me they're a fraudulent organization that's just stagnant. And I think they include with the United States government. But when you dealing with organization decorum, Malcolm X did go against that. The reason why he was ostracized in the first place is because, and this is according to his biography and many other people that was in the nation at that time, he went against a direct order from the Elijah Muhammad to all ministers around the nation to not speak on John F. Kennedy. He went against that and spoke on him when he said and then the chicken came home to roost comments. Then after that, he was placed on I think a 3-month silencing, and then he also continued to where he continued to speak on television and continued doing television engagements. So after that, there had been a rift for a good 2 years. So he was going out there doing what he was doing, making his rounds. And then the straw that broke the camel's back when he found out all that stuff about Elijah Muhammad. You don't go on national television and out. Yeah, he was doing deleterious stuff, but you don't go on national television and out. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. And do I agree with the Nation of Islam and what they was doing? No, but if you, from an organization standpoint, they was well within their rights to deal with somebody that they viewed as a traitor, how they dealt with them, and that's, you just got to deal with the facts with that.
No, you're
Yeah,
right. You're right, guys. Listen,
yeah,
I have to. I'm gonna go to Niger. Go ahead and respond to Niger, and then I'm gonna close
yeah.
out. So I got another show at 7:30. So go ahead, to Niger, and then we'll close out.
I think there is a point that he made there about Malcolm X betraying Elijah Muhammad, but still there's a reason why we are still talking about Malcolm X today. He represented more than that. You don't condemn him to death because Elijah Muhammad is just one man. It's not about loyalty, it's about the message. Whatever, if Nation of Islam falls today, is Nation of Islam, are they defending us in any way? They are more loyal to Mecca than they are to the community. So that's where I would draw my line on that one. And I think our people should be taking more responsibility for, selling out. I think good examples need to happen. It's not all leaders that have been sold out. Nobody sold Mugabe out. Nobody sold Ndi Amin out. These people did some radical stuff on the continent. Nobody had really sold Libyan president out. So it's not all leaders, our people, not all our people, and I'm sure there are people in America too that were not sold out. So we shouldn't be afraid, because what that guy said just now will make people always worry. Oh, they're coming to kill me, because everybody around me could be a kill squad. No. You just have to protect yourself, do your due diligence, and that is one thing I could hold Malcolm X responsible for too. When you are doing some of things, you have to protect yourself. Even cult members know that. You can't just be walking around. I don't understand our leaders sometimes. They just walk around without any form of security, and they are still doing it today, even in Africa. You just walk around. Martin Luther King, one man shooting, boom, gone. Malcolm X, they don't even have to hide out well even to do it. At least Kennedy, we are still debating where they came from. Oh, thank you very much anyway.
Oh, hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. Another show coming up at 7:30. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, I'll see you guys in 30 minutes. Peace.
Peace.